That's good. Good evening, everybody. I think we are. It looks like I'm late due to dozens of people already commenting. We're back from 5:30, so there's a bit of a catch up to do. Anyway, good evening, everybody. Hope you are well. Good to see Digger Tyson Fury on a Sunday night. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Tezza is the man. Good to see Sam as well. Blueface Savage. Jimbo's on. Lots of people are on. Good to see you. I hope you're all feeling better than I'm feeling, because I've got a dose of the good old man flu, which isn't good. I caught it off a farmer last week. I went into a farmer's pickup with him to look at some fields to detect, and halfway through the journey into the fields and on the trackways, he said, "Oh, I've got the flu, by the way." And I thought, well, that's not a good sign. If I'm sat right next to him, he's got the flu. And of course, the next morning, the good old man flu kicked in. I feel a little bit better today, but use lot stay clear of the man flu. The ladies out there won't quite understand what us men mean by man flu, but believe me, it's not nice. It's not good. So I've been pretty much miserable all week. Anyway, that's me. Lots to talk about tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, give us the old-fashioned thumbs up if you can, just to make the streaming visible and more apparent for people that want to join. And of course, if you're on Facebook, I'll have a look. I think most of us are on. Oh no, there's a few on Facebook. Just give us the thumbs up. That'll be much appreciated, so people can see. We've got lots to talk about tonight, folks. Some good stuff, some really good stuff, and some not so good stuff. Unfortunately, there's always a bit of a sour note going on. But good to see History Unearthed. Look at that new logo, everybody. It's rather cool. We've got Graham Maloney. Good to see you, Graham. Hope you're well. Lawrence Hartley's on. And Tony Baloney. Lee Gasketh is on, I think, Lee. Yes, Lee's on. Good to see you, Lee. And Blue Digusty Tex, who seems to be finding lots of nice things, along with this gentleman here, who's had a good day detecting by all accounts, Dale. Found a rather smashing coin today. Lucky man. And Andrew Tiffin, what a man he is. Great detectorist. And we've got lots of people anyway joining us. Ryan Chapelhow, I should say. And we've got Tony Hines, Dave Reed. And if my tongue gets tied a lot tonight, I'm probably blaming the night nurse that I've been taking for the last few nights. There you go. We've got lots of people joining. The numbers are jumping up to nearly 50. Happy days. Now, we've got another guy join us, I think. Oh, Harry Long. Hi, Harry. Hope you're well. And Fabio is on, which is good to see. New people, new faces. Chris Kirk's on somewhere. I can't keep up with all these different people. Christopher Kirk, there he is. And Rob Quince as well. Good to see all these people joining in. Steve Harrison's on. Somewhere there, pressing the button. It's not happening. There we go, folks. So we're all pretty good, I think. Right. TH says, night nurse, swap for whiskey. Yeah, well, yeah, whiskey does a good job of knocking you out. I mean, the thing is with these bugs that you get, I don't know if use people ever experience the same as what I do, but I'm a very light sleeper, so I can hear a pin drop. So I'm not a very good sleeper anyway. And of course, with a bug, I tend to keep awake at night a lot. But have you noticed these bugs? They don't like you to sleep either, do you? Even though you walk around feeling knackered all day. I was up feeding my sheep this morning. I had no energy. But you come back home, you think, oh, I could have a little kip this afternoon. But you can never do it. Ryan is on. Good evening from Italy. Good to see an Italian face, friend. Good to see you, sir. And History Unearthed, he's on about coming to one of our digs. I hope he does. Gold hallmarks from the Mercy and Metal Detector Percy. Gold hallmarks can be quite tricky, especially the older ones. There is a comprehensive list of gold hallmarks dating back from the 1700s, I think, Percy, on Google. If you have a look on Google for the gold hallmarks, there's a chart that will come up and help you determine and find what your hallmarks are. If it's off a ring, for example. So that's what I would suggest that you do. Anyway, there you go. Dirt Diggers from Yorkshire. Hello and good evening to you too, sir. Right, let's get into it. Now, a lot of you know, probably, and some of you probably don't know, that we've been running for the last month, or longer than a month, a Minelab mega competition, which is free. And there's been many winners already, folks. There's been lots of winners, which is good, which is what it's all about. And there's been another winner tonight. We'll put this on the Facebook page and group. But just in case the person's actually on here watching, where's my slip of paper? Right. So I can announce the winner of the latest Minelab mega competition, which is Minelab merchandise directly from Minelab itself. This hasn't come via Unearth. This has come from Minelab direct to me. We've boxed them up and we send them out to the winners. So the winner of the latest Minelab mega competition is DG Reed. So I can only presume DG Reed, looking at Melanie, is David Reed. If number what? Yeah, number 16, David Reed. That was the draw that was made earlier. And I think there was about 44 people that put in for the draw, which is a little bit lower than normal. We usually get about 70 or 80. But what people have got to realize is there's lots more of these competitions to come. So if you don't win on this one, you've got more of a chance of winning. Or what I'm saying is you've got equal amounts of chance of winning on the next 2 or 3 live draws leading up to Christmas. So we do a random number generator to get the winners. We have a list of the entries with numbers next to the names, and David's was the one that was drawn out. So well done to him. If he can send me an address where we can send this information out and the goods out to him, just to give you a recap, in the pack, you're not going to get this merchandise just off the street, by the way. This is directly from Minelab. So there's a Minelab red carry bag. And inside the Minelab red carry bag, there's Minelab detecting gloves, which are really good. There's a Minelab fines pouch, the grey coloured one, I think, bluey grey, which is quite unusual. And then you've got, is it a Minelab bandana, Mel? I think there's a Minelab bandana in there as well, if that's the right word to use. I can see Dave in that. There's a Minelab drinking bottle, which are quite unique. There's also a carabiner clip from Minelab. And something else, and I can't remember. Oh, and one of the new Minelab caps as well. There's 7 different items to win. Now, Minelab have been good enough to put these competitions on for us. So what we're doing it a little bit interactive, where you can enter it by answering some simple questions linked to our YouTube channel, which is dead straightforward. So if you haven't won on this one, don't dismay. There's going to be at least another 2 or 3 leading up to Christmas and beyond. And there's already been 3 or 4 winners. So it's happy days. Happy days all round, folks. Minelab are very good to us, and we support them as best we can. So it's only right that we do these competitions for the people that follow Unearthed and our friends as well. So that's the way we want to do it. We want to do it right for people, and it's good that good people win. We had a lady that won earlier in the week. I can't even remember her name, you know. And we had 2 winners before that in November. So we'll probably have at least 3 draws going on leading to Christmas. There you go. Louise Ratcliffe, how are you? Hope you're well. We've got lots of people joining us, up to 40 odd people, nearly 50 people actually. So as you can see, I'm not myself, folks, so don't beat me up too much. I'm just sort of getting over the old dead. I haven't had man flu for 7 years, by the way. and I had a little bit I was a little bit run down, a little bit stressed out a couple of weeks ago. And I think when you get stressed out and run down, the old bugs catch up. I took too much on my plate, too much on my shoulders, too much work, not enough play, and I was feeling a little bit sorry for myself. So there you go, folks. But I'll be back fighting fit again next week. So we've got the draw out of the way. We know Dave's won it, DG Reed, and that is Dave Reed. And I think he's on here. There he is. Look. Thank you, Unearthed Graham and Mel. You spelt Graham wrong, Dave, but I won't hold you to that. You put the E before the A. But well done for winning, Dave. I think you'll like that stuff, mate. It's a really good package that Mind Lab have put on. Right, folks, let's get that over and done with for now. Some interesting stuff coming out. From the world of detecting. So you'll see, because it's been the Good Friday, Cyber Monday stuff going on, there's been lots of different deals going on. Some dealers have been dropping off the cliff, a race to the bottom, whatever you want to call it. We don't ever really get involved in the Black Friday stuff because it's just, it can be a frantic mess. And there's that many people undercutting each other. It's just ridiculous, you know. We've got to make a living somehow, and I have to sit back and laugh at some of these dealers scrambling over each other and fighting each other to get the best deal. However, we did a really good deal for people on Friday with some of the Mind Lab stuff going out and other bits and pieces, which is good, and we'll probably do another similar thing for Cyber Monday. These Americanized terms, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, never really got why it took off in the UK as much, but maybe the UK is becoming Americanized a little bit now. You know, rest in peace, Great Britain. You know, hello, this new sort of weird and wonderful world we're living in. But that's just my take on it, folks. That's just my take. However, you would have seen by now, some of you people that support and use Mind Lab metal detectors, that there's and you can see it behind me now on the screen. If you look here, where we are. If you look, is that rain out there, Mel? It is rain. Wow. If you look here, my finger, you can see behind me and this side here, that's actually an image of the Manticore. It is rain. Wow. That is heavy rain, isn't it? The Manticore metal detector is coming out soon. It was supposed to be, we thought we might have seen a glimpse of it by now, actually, but that's going to be obviously not the case. It's going to be put back, I think, a few weeks. We should see the first emergence of the detectors coming into the UK in the next week or two, I should imagine, which is rather exciting for the people that are, you know, looking out and interested in these detectors. However, Mind Lab have also made another announcement, which will be rolled out on the 1st of December. Now, at first, I thought this would have been linked to the Manticore, but not. Actually not. This is a completely separate announcement from the Manticore. So rather intriguing and exciting times for obviously the Mind Lab fans. So there's something else coming to the table, and we'll get the first glimpse of this, wherever it could be. I've got an idea, but I'm not going to be seeing it live on stream as early as Thursday. This Thursday, we should get some information through on what this new announcement is regarding Mind Lab and their metal detectors. So something to keep an eye on, folks, if you are keen on that particular brand, which I know quite a lot of you are. So that's rather exciting. So there's a lot of stuff bubbling around in the background, which is good. It's not all good news, by the way, folks. And a lot of you wonderful people, a lot of you wonderful people will be now quite worried, I think is the right word, and concerned about the situation here in the Northwest, certainly in Cumbria, but wider, I think. I'm going to say the Northwest, which includes Lancashire, could even include Yorkshire, but let's not get too carried away yet in regards to the situation with the fines liaison officers and people handing their treasure items in to certain people, and these items, coins and artifacts going missing. Now, I've sat on this for some time. I've been aware of it for some time, and I have been concerned about it for some time. However, the situation is worsening by the day. I'm not going to say it's going to, I'm not actually saying at this stage it's worsening by the week. This is a situation that's worsening by the day. So every single day now, there's people coming forward reporting their finds that they've handed in as treasure items. Have sadly been misplaced. Now, I've been talking to the press about it, and I've had people like the BBC and the local newspaper that covers Cumbria wanting to run stories. I've even had the Sun newspaper on asking to run a story, which I'm not prepared to do. I'm certainly not prepared to do that with the Sun anyway, because I don't like the newspaper. However, what worries me about it is there's a lot of things worrying me about it, and this has been going on, as far as we know, since around about 2019. Now that's the date I'm compiling a list of names and items that have gone missing here in Cumbria. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't think at this stage anybody else from the detecting side's doing it. Maybe the individuals are, which is fine, but I'm not aware of anybody else systematically logging each individual case that comes forward. So I'm doing it. I'm taking it on my own back to do that. And you'll be surprised and shocked. You'll be surprised and shocked at how many coins and artifacts have gone missing. Now, we can use the word gone missing, or we can actually use the word misplaced, right? And I would love to think that at some point in the very near future, hopefully before Christmas, that somebody opens a locked office door and then finds a drawer which is locked, or a set of drawers, or a file cabinet full of these coins and artifacts, and say, whoa, we found them, everything's okay. I think that would have already been done by now. That's the worrying thing. I've got many, many different theories running around in my head, and all those theories go back to one source. And I honestly think that not all of it, but some of these, at least half, if not more, of these items have been taken away through, bad. It's bad. What's the word I'm looking for? I've got to be careful what I say, haven't I? Yeah. What I'm trying to say is I think it's illegal. This is illegal. What's gone on? I think there's been a thief that have had their hands on these items, and I am extremely worried for their whereabouts. So if you rewind, let's just think of this for Cumbria for now, folks, because I'm getting messages from people saying, hang on a minute, I'm in Bristol, I've had my treasure items reported as missing, right? Bristol is a 3.5 hour, 4 hour drive from Cumbria. And I can't log every single item from every part of the UK, or at very least every part of England. So if I concentrate on Cumbria now, this is the situation, right? This is the situation. If you cast your mind back, and some of you people on here now will know about this because you were probably present on the day. If you go back to the unearthed dig up near Brampton, January 2020, when Chris Linton found a hoard of medieval silver pennies, which we all rejoiced and joined in with the celebrations that afternoon, and helped Chris locate some of the coins that were hanging around in the plough soil, or in the top couple of inches of the earth. And we ended up with 69 pennies. We actually went back to see if we could locate more, and we did. and they were duly handed in as required through the Treasure Act within the 2-week period. They were reported, landowners' names and addresses were given over. Every single thing was done correct into the book within the 2-week period. And then I think a little bit later on, the coins were all handed over to the fines liaison officer. And it's now been reported by a member of the Cumbria County Council that 12 of these coins have actually gone missing out of the 69. How 12 can just go missing out of the hoard is, it's rather, worrying that there's been 12 of these hammered pennies that have been taken out of the hoard, because they all should have been together, by the way. They've been taken out of the hoard, and now they're actually classed as missing. Now, once something's missing, there's got to be an investigation done, and the county council offices have done an investigation. They couldn't come up with the answers, so the police are now involved. So it's a police matter, and I just hope the police have got the resources and the time and effort to say, you know what, this is serious, and we'll put all our resource and energy into this, because it's not a one-off. Chris's hoard is actually not as bad, even though it's horrendous that he's had 12 of his coins missing from the hoard, right? It's not actually as bad as some of the other ones. So, for example, right, and stay with me on this, guys, because it's important. On the same day, in the same hour as Chris found his hoard, Colin Hawkins found a medieval gold ring on a field about a quarter of a mile away, on the same farm. Dead lucky. Just managed to wave his CTX over a patch of ground, and a unique gold medieval finger ring came up. And we know it's unique because we've never seen one like it before. So that ring, in my opinion, and this was my opinion right from the start when I had it in my hand that day, was of national importance. And the reason why I say it is national importance is because they have never seen one like it before, and it had a unique inscription inside it, which is unusual. Usually posy rings have inscriptions inside them, but this medieval gold ring had an inscription inside it, which we deciphered at the time. And listen, don't ask, I can't remember exactly what it was, but its shape and its size and its dimensions were very, very strange and unusual. So Colin, being Colin, did everything by the book because he's a responsible detectorist. Within that 2-week time period, he'd reported the find, he'd logged the find, he'd done everything that the Treasure Act asked him to do, and within a short period after that, he duly handed that gold ring over to the fines liaison officer. We didn't hear anything back off this ring, and we were getting rather frantic. So summertime this year, I ended up ringing up the fines liaison officer, but I got no joy because I needed to know the whereabouts from it. And the reason why I needed to know is because Colin was becoming frantic. It was found on my unearthed organised dig, and the landowner himself was asking me about it. So I had 3 reasons to be ringing the fines liaison officer up, asking for an update on it, but he wouldn't get back to me. So what I did, I went straight to Michael Lewis from the Portable Antiquity Scheme, the head of Portable Antiquity Scheme, and guess what? He didn't pick up the phone or answer any of my messages or calls. So then I went to Mr. Richardson from the British Museum, who's the top, I think, one of the top guys in there, and he was quite helpful, and he set the ball rolling. And lo and behold, this week Colin gets an email saying that the class in the ring is missing. So that's disappeared as well. So there's 2 finds on that particular day before COVID, 2020, that are missing. We don't know where they are. We don't know who's got them. All we can say at this stage is that they were locked away in a cupboard in a restricted room, right? In a restricted room. So there wasn't access for everybody to get into that room. It's a police matter now, so we've got to be careful that we don't, I can't get too angry about it yet because we don't know the full facts. But I'm not holding back in going for the jugular here, and I think the portable antiquity scheme, if push comes to shove and we find these items have indeed been stolen, well, there needs to be a statement at the very least coming from there, at the very least. You know, the detectorists, us detectorists, are doing everything by the book here. The detectorists aren't to blame. They've done everything by the book, like good, honest detectorists do. And we're getting let down by the system. This is an absolute appalling situation to be in. But on top of that, and this is where it really gets me, angry, is now, after I put it on the Facebook group, just to test the water to see what people thought of the current situation with regards to the hoard of silver pennies and the gold ring. Lo and behold, many, many different stories and items, including hoards of Roman silver cilikas, Bronze Age hoards of axes and spears, and also coins, hammered coins, hoards of hammered coins also being reported as missing. Now, if you tallied all these artifacts and coins up together, and you did a rough estimate, a conservative estimate of the value of these finds, I would be saying it's hundreds of thousands of pounds. Now, that's not me really sort of, you know, making a meal of this and being a little bit fanciful, because you only have to look at Colin's unique gold ring and you would probably come to the conclusion that's worth probably thousands of pounds in value, because it is of national importance, right? It's not just county-wide importance, it's of national importance. Now, you couple that with some of the other finds that have gone missing, including the hoard of silver cilikas. I think there's a Viking hack silver hoard that's gone missing, along with other single treasure items, artifacts that have gone missing, and then the hoards of hammered silver coins that have gone missing. This list now is growing and growing, right? You can quite easily come up with a figure of hundreds of thousands of pounds potentially, right? So that's the situation. Now, I know for a fact this week there's going to be people getting letters to their door with regards to treasure items that they've handed in the Northwest with the same, you know, I'm sorry, but your finds have been logged as missing and we're doing an investigation. The police are involved, etc., etc. Thank you for your patience. The problem I've got with it is this, right? What are the NCMD doing? Now, I've got a lot of friends within the NCMD. Well, hang on a minute, I'll rephrase that. I've got friends within the NCMD. I haven't got a lot of friends within the NCMD. But I think the NCMD now should be looking at this, right? The NCMD should be looking at this now carefully, and rather than just sitting back and saying, well, we ain't going to do anything because we don't know the full facts. The full facts are there's a police investigation going on and the national press have got hold of it. The Express newspaper. Now, we've got the Sun and we've got the Express newspaper running stories on it. Not the best, you know, newspapers to be running stories. I absolutely agree. But they're running stories and lots of people buy them. So it's hit the national press, regardless of whether it's the newspapers of the gutter or not. I don't care. But now the police are involved. That tells me it's serious, right? Whenever the police are involved in an investigation, it's always going to be serious. So I would like to see, certainly before, well, we're not going to see before the month's out, but certainly into December, I would like to see the NCMD come out with a statement to say, listen, we're supporting the detectorists. We are aware of the situation and we're looking into it. Because I think the NCMD have got the resources much greater than someone like me compiling a list of names and treasure items and single artifacts that have gone missing. I think the NCMD are actually better placed than I am to do that job. So it would be interesting to see if there's a statement from our voice of metal detecting, the NCMD. Let's see what happens. But at the moment, and this is only me in Cumbria running organised digs for our friends who are really good detectorists, by the way, and they do everything by the book. We've had at least 2 treasure items over the last 2 weeks. Actually, probably 3. And I've told them by all means, do everything by the book, go through the treasure process, record these items within the 2-week period as stipulated, but do not hand these items over to the fines liaison officer. Do not hand these fines over to the fines liaison officer in Cumbria. Ring up the Cumbria County Coroner's Office and report it directly to them within the time period. And that's your job done then. And then you can organise at a later date for these items to be handed over when everything, hopefully by then, is sorted out. But as long as you do everything by the book, you've got nothing to worry about. You've got nothing to worry about. Now, I'm also hearing now, and I don't know whether this is sort of people jumping on board with it, and I don't think it is. I'm hearing there's now similar things happening in 4 or 5 different counties throughout the UK, and I just can't believe that. I just can't believe that would be true, but it looks like it could be. But I can only really comment on what's happening in the Northwest, and it's sad. It's sad that detectorists are doing everything by the book as they normally do. I mean, I was reading in the press yesterday that 2 guys had been caught detecting on, was it a Roman site, a scheduled Roman site somewhere? Somebody might pull me up and tell me differently, but I'm sure it was a Roman site. And one of the museums had done an article on it saying how saddened they were because they work with listen, these people that were caught night hawking or day hawking, it could have been, right? Yeah, you with me? These people that were caught illegally detecting, and they were actually named as well. Was one in his 30s and one in his 50s. I think it was only reported this week, right? They're not detectorists. They're not like us. What they are, thieves using a detector, just like a common thug would pick up a cricket bat up and brace somebody over the head with it. Now, he's not a cricketer, but he's got a cricket bat. And these people are not detectorists, but they've got a detector. The thieves looking to make money off the back of detecting. That's all that is. So these people classing them as detectorists are completely wrong. Roman site in Wiltshire, there you go, Len Jackman told me. It's nothing to do with them. Nothing to do with detecting. So every time I read that somebody's been caught night hawking, I say, well, yeah, he's a thief. Treat him as a thief. Don't treat him as a detectorist because he's not a detectorist. Treat him as a thief. Throw the book at him. Leather him round the Swede with a detector if you've got to, but do not class him as a detectorist. So that's where we are with the current situation. And it's angered me that we put so much time and effort in drilling it into people. We don't have to drill it into people. They already know the treasure, but just on the off chance that people have forgot what they've got to do, listen, you make sure that item is recorded within the 2-week period as stipulated by the Treasure Act, and, make sure you do everything by the book so nobody can come back and say, you as a detectorist did it wrong, we're going to throw the book at you. Well, guess what? The ball is on the other foot now. The detectorists have done everything by the book. And off the back of this, when this is all blown over, whenever it may be, this could be rolling on for a year or 2 or longer, the detectorists will come out better and stronger because we've done nothing wrong. We'll come out in a good light over this. Can you imagine the government minister, right? You imagine the government minister of the Department of Culture, Media and Culture and Sport, right? Getting wind of this situation, right? It's not going to look good on people, is it? But I tell you, it won't look bad on us because we've done nothing wrong. So, and the other thing is, while I'm on a bit of a rant, okay, this is another thing that winds me up, and I'm sure a lot of you people on here now listening to me ranting will agree. So you put a post on saying this unfortunate set of circumstances has took part. I've handed in 180 Roman coins, silver denarius, found northwest, and they've gone missing. We don't know where they are. We can't locate them. put it on social media, and everyone is pretty much pissed off, right? Everyone is what? Well, everyone's hacked off then, right? Everyone's pretty much hacked off about the situation. And then you get the people saying, well, I won't be handing anything for treasure anymore. That gold ring I found last week, I'm keeping it. Now, that winds me up, right? Because that means you're no better than them. You find a piece of treasure, doesn't belong to you, it belongs to the landowner. It belongs to the landowner. Everything that you find belongs to the landowner unless you've got an agreement in place, a 50-50 split. So people that are saying, well, them coins I found last week or that gold ring I found last week, I'm keeping it. No, you're not keeping it. You give it to the landowner. That's where people forget. They forget that everything that you find belongs to the landowner, not you as a detectorist, unless you've got that 50-50 agreement in place. Or in some aspects, like some of the agreements I used to have when I was younger, 80-20. The farmer had 80% of it. So there's a lot of uneducated people now thinking, oh, I'm not handing anything. I'm just going to keep it in my pocket. Don't keep it in your pocket. Then you're breaking the law. Then you're actually you're falling into the hands of the authorities and everybody else that wants to throw a book at you. Do everything by the book. Have your head held high. Don't do anything wrong. Enjoy the hobby. You've got nothing to worry about. And that's what winds me up. I had to delete a couple of people from Facebook the other day saying, well, I found a Roman gold ring last week. I ain't handing that in. Well, what are you going to do with it? Put it in your pocket and just hide it away? Does the landowner know about it? Does the landowner know who let you on, who give you permission in the first place to detect on that field that you're keeping it away from him? Wrong. There you go. So that is the situation, folks. Now, I think, and I'm going to continue to post on Facebook many different coins and artifacts that have gone missing. If people come to me and say, listen, I've got this story here, this is what's happened, I've got the paperwork, there's the paperwork, can I post it? Absolutely 100% post it up. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So I ain't holding back. I'm going to be pretty much, on the front foot over this. And I think, I'm not hiding away. I'm sitting on the fence over this. I think there's been illegal activities around the finds that detectorists have made. There you go. I think there's been a wrong'un, somebody. Now, here's the thing. Where are these finds at now? There's no point in looking on eBay for them. No point in looking on eBay. They won't be on eBay. They'll be abroad. Possibly. It could be anywhere. But I don't think you'll be finding them on eBay. I don't think these, I'd love to know where Colin's ring is. It's just unbelievable. It's just absolutely unbelievable. But you've got to remember, and everybody's got to remember that the detectorists are doing everything by the book. We've got nothing to worry about. We've got absolutely nothing to worry about. We should be walking around with our heads held high. We've done everything by the book. We've handed these treasure items in for safekeeping, hoping that in 18 months' time that we'll get word that it's going through the Treasure Act, it's going to the committee, a museum wants to acquire it, and me as a finder might have my name to that Roman gold ring or that hoard or that clutch of hammered silver, and the landowner and him get a payout for it, which is just, which is not what it's about. But at least it's done by the book. And then only to find that these things have gone missing. I mean, poor Colin and poor Chris, I'm using them two as an example, but Jackie that's on here, Blue Deacons Detect, she's had things going missing from Cumbria. She'll tell me more than I know, but she's handed items in, right? She's handed items in, treasure items, and they've gone missing as well. So here's Chris now. Look, Chris has come on, look, folks. This is the beauty of these live streams. There's Chris. This is the guy here who found the 69 hammered silver coins on the unearthed organised dig in 2020. You can post up any details that I've received, Graham, about the hoard that got pinched. So 12 of Chris's coins have gone missing out of the 69 that he handed in. Now, why would there be 12, right? Why would there be 12? Would there be 12? Oh, hang on a minute. Would there be 12 of the best ones? Surely not. Surely not. You'd hate to think it was 12 of the best pennies out of that hoard. And by the way, there would have been some rare ones in that hoard as well, because when we were collating them, at the end of the day, there was some really mint condition hammered coins of Edward I, Edward II, and one of them, was it John of somebody? Can't remember his name now. So there you've got a situation that's developing that could be huge implications on what happens next. I mean, I think, and it's worth me saying this, folks, as well, while I'm on this bit of a rant, I'm not tarnishing the fines liaison officers with the same brush. If it's the fines liaison officers to blame, then it's only going to be a very, very small number of them. There's some very, very good. That's it, John Brabant. Was it John Brabant? Chris, one of the coins was quite rare, wasn't it? Brabant, that was him. Anyway, yeah, if these items haven't gone missing through the situation of handing them into the fines liaison officers, and it's somebody else that's got their hands on these items that needs to be arrested, basically. But what I'm saying is the fines liaison officers that mostly do a fantastic job. I ain't pointing the fingers at the fines liaison officers in the country, but what also on one hand I'm saying is these items that have gone missing have been handed into the fines liaison officers, so they must be they must be talked to, they must be interviewed, because they were the last people that the detectorists knew had their hands on them. So they're partially responsible for these fines, because surely they would have been the ones that were putting them away for safekeeping. And they've gone missing from safekeeping, folks. That's where they've gone missing from. It's wrong. And I want to get to the bottom of it. I'm just as keen on finding out what's going on as the detectorists are doing, because at the end of the day, people like me are advising the detectorists what to do. They already know what to do, but if they forgot the procedure, which some of them had, then it's our responsibility as dig organisers and detectorists ourselves to make sure people are doing the right thing and by the book. So more to come of this, folks, and it's a real shame that we can't concentrate on the really good aspects of the hobby, which is bringing the history to light, showing the nation all these wonderful finds. You only have to look at some of the news stories over the past 6 months of what detectorists have been bringing to light to show how good detectorists are, right? Just the most amazing group of people on the planet when it comes to saving history. Just a pity people like Barford and that other idiot, that Paul Blinkhorn from Time Team, who's got his own Facebook page, who slags detectorists off on a regular basis, doesn't fully understand the work that we do, really doesn't understand the work that we do. He probably throws us all in the mix and classes us as the same as these two idiots that have been caught detecting on a Roman site in Wiltshire. Absolute idiots at times, these people. But of course, here's the other thing as well. When you go onto Paul Barford's blogs, when he's slagging detectorist stuff, I did notice, because I do have a little peek on there from time to time. However, you've got to be careful when you do look at Paul Barford's rants, anti-detecting rants. It's actually not a safe, what's the word, Melanie? It's not a safe domain on his website. You've got to be careful. It's not a safe place to go. It might even open you up to receive viruses and things on your computer. So just be careful when you log on to Barford's blog site on your mobile phone. It'll be better rather than your PC. So he has mentioned it. Yeah, I know. But he's had a. But do you know what? He didn't have a go. He didn't really stick up for the detectorists, which is wrong. So much more to come of this, but it is a shame. It's a shame. So, folks, so that's that. And this situation's only going to get worse, by the way. I just fear the worst. I don't think we're going to see. I mean, like I said earlier, we might just find that magical key that opens the door of an office somewhere in the county council offices, and all these fines emerge. And let's hope that happens. Let's hope that happens. So, folks, as changing the subject, but I mean, by all means, you can. Some of you people on here can bring it up again, the subject of this. But it just goes to show how passions are running quite high and emotions are running quite high in regards to where people's fines are. I mean, if the detectorists weren't chasing up the fines liaison officers, who incidentally never reply to the detectorist emails or phone calls, which I think is an absolute disgrace. It doesn't take 6 months or 12 months to reply to someone's message. At some point, pick the phone up or drop them a message via email and talk to them properly. Don't keep ignoring them. Never mind I'm stretched and we've got no budget and we've got too much work on our hands. It only takes, and this bollocks about COVID, which is a load of absolute bollocks. People keep using COVID as an excuse. It's a load of bollocks. And the thing is as well, right, they can't hide behind the COVID screen anymore. It only takes 2 minutes to send an email to somebody like Chris Linton, who's on the screen now. Say, hi, Chris. I have actually got your hoard. It's safe. And it's going through the treasure process in the next couple of months. Thank you very much for handing it in. And the other thing is, and Jackie's just brought it up on the screen, and she has because I forgot, is I'm dreading going to explain the losses to our farmers. And that's the other thing. They're not talking to the landowners. They're leaving it to the detectorists to do. So tomorrow morning after 9 o'clock, I'm going to have to ring up 2 of my farmers and say, listen, I'm sorry to inform you, but the items that were found on your farm in 2020 that were deemed as treasure have gone missing. Now, they're either going to go, oh, what a shame, or they're going to blow the top, or they're going to be extremely disappointed like we are, or all three. So, yeah, the good old detectorists are now going to have to pick up the pieces of this mess and start informing the landowners of the losses and to explain the situation. Now, because it's a police matter and the police don't give out too much information anyway, how long is it going to take to get some answers? This could roll on for another 18 months. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So there is other fines out there that have not been logged. I mean, there's actually one that was found in Cumbria around about let me see. I would say 2019, 2020. So it was sort of pre-COVID, I think. And it was a lovely, fantastic late Roman, early Saxon gold ring is the only thing we can describe it as. And that was found up here in Cumbria by Kate, who's a good detectorist. If you people know Kate and Shirley from the television stuff and the Unearthed Organised Digs, well, Kate found a lovely, ancient, beautiful gold ring with a zoomorphic terminal on it. And then she's handed that in and not heard a thing back. So there's a big chance. I'm thinking there's a big chance of this have gone missing as well. I'm not going to use the word stolen, gone missing at the moment, because I don't want people to turn around and say, well, you're misinforming people. Gone missing is the right word I'm going to use. Until I can use other words. So we'll use gone missing. It seems I'm much more comfortable with that, even though in my head, I'm thinking differently. So that's another important find that we need to urgently find out where it is. So there's a very good point coming through, and I've not really sort of addressed some of your, because I've been ranting that much about it. I do apologise. And of course, we're up to over 60 odd people, which is good. Rusty Detectorist, Graham, what happens if people stop handing fines in with fines going missing? Well, there's the danger right there. There is the danger right there. So you can bet your bottom dollar that because of this situation, the graph of fines being handed in through the portable antiquity scheme and through the fines liaison officer route will drop dramatically. That's only my opinion. That is only my opinion, folks. That's just me speculating. But I speculate that there'll be a drop-off now of fines being recorded and handed in. Now, that's a worry. This is my advice. If anybody wants to take it, you as a detectorist, right, are only temporary custodians of the fines that you make anyway. So all the fines I've made over the years that I've shared with the landowner, and some of the coins that the landowners agreed that I could keep for my collection, some of the landowners don't care what I'm finding. They're quite happy for me to wander around in fields for every day of the year, mud up to my eyeballs, thinking I'm a bit eccentric, right? But I love finding ancient things, just like you guys do. We're only temporary custodians of what we collect. And of course, if it's a treasure item or a valuable item, then the landowner gets half the value if you've got that agreement in place. And of course, if it's a treasure item, it gets handed in through the process. I would categorically say at this stage, you continue to do the right thing. Because if you as a detectorist start falling, in my eyes, you've got high standards. Your high standards as a detectorist start falling down, then you know better than them. And that's when the hobby can really become under scrutiny. You as a detectorist, all of us as a detectorists are pretty much right brilliant at what we do. We do everything by the book. As soon as we don't start doing things by the book, that's when things start going down the nick. So what I would do is I would continue to just do the right thing and hand stuff in. Right, there you go, folks. What a rant, eh? So it's pretty grim. It's pretty grim. But don't think for 1 minute that we should be dropping off the radar with handing stuff in. Don't think for a minute that you're going to find something that's worth value and put it in your back pocket. Think, I'm going to keep this. Not going to hand it in. Not going to show anybody it. Well, who's it going to be worth something to? You're just fooling yourself. You detect because you want to bring history to life, and you'll absolutely love finding ancient objects, which is what it's all about. So it's a worry, and but there's going to be people that are hesitant now, and Darren says this. It's natural for people to be hesitant about handing things in. Obviously, treasure items have to be handed in, but most things the FLO receives are voluntary handing it in for recording. There is another way, actually, which is a better way, I think. Al Plevy, good to see you, Al. With them being so unique, do you think they might be finding their way into private collections, as like you said, won't get sold on eBay because they'll stand out like a sore thumb? There's so many scenarios about these objects. There's so many scenarios. So here's the thing that I do or have done in the past is, rather than sitting down with whoever it might be and handing these objects in, even though they're not treasure, the easiest way to do it is just send an email with some pictures. Pictures. Make sure you've got the dimensions of the object. If you can weigh it. Tell them what it's made of. If you know, send it to whoever it is that you're going to be recording your finds with. It's an easier way to do it. Or they need some sort of self-recording system that everybody can get involved in, rather than just an elite few. Self-record your finds. People will be doing it all the time if it was an easy system. Self-record your finds. Easy. So easy. Then the FLOs won't have to get snowed under with all sorts of weird and wonderful things. The system's rubbish anyway, because I can remember taking a load of medieval items once to a fines liaison officer, and they threw them back in my face. They didn't want to record lead trade weights and spindle walls, and I had a pilgrim's badge. Didn't want to look at them things. They only wanted to look at was the gold and silver. Not interested in the bronze buckles from the 15th century with the pins still attached and the zoomorphic strap ends, the bronze ones. They weren't really interested in them. They just wanted to know if you had anything that was gold and silver and of value, which I think was wrong. So a system where people can record their own items would be much better. Much better. Decent. Everybody's got decent quality phones now. They can take decent quality pictures. But that's just, again, my opinion, folks. That's just my opinion. And of course, you can probably go directly to the museums and show the museums like I've done in the past items, which is a nice way to do it. But it is a rather doom and gloom live stream tonight, folks, isn't it? Which matches my mood rather. Let's talk about something different. So just while we change the subject, who's been out detecting today? Anybody? I know Dale's been out and had a good find. I think Blue Dickus detects Jackie's been out and had a good find. I've actually seen quite a lot of good finds today. There is a risk of things getting misrecorded. And I don't know what the rest of it you said, mate, because you've just looked like you've just put your finger right across the bottom of your keyboard. Or is it Chinese? Or doing it yourself. There's a risk of getting things misrecorded if you're doing it yourself. There is, you're right. But don't underestimate detectorists. A lot of detectorists, actually, certainly the ones that have been doing it for a long time, probably know more about artifacts and coins than the finds liaison officers do. So there you go. There's a lot of clever detectorists out there that are more than capable of self-recording their finds. They've got reference books like libraries. So there's got to be a better system. Got to be a better system. So yeah, so going back, there's the winner of the Mind Lab competition, folks, which is good. And that's DG Reed. It's come up as on the system, so that must be Dave Reed. So he's won it, and we've got the interesting stuff coming from Mind Lab in about 4 or 5 days' time, which I'm really looking forward to finding out more about what that is. I think Jean's been out as well. Let's just see. Jean's been out, and I think you had a hammered Jean first signal, didn't you, Jean? I'm sure you did. I know that I often get an accurate ID from the Unearth group. There you go, mate. That's good to know. Fantastic. Hi, Jean, as well. So, yeah. Ryan's been out as well. Ryan was out yesterday for a few hours. Had a nice William IV 4p, which is a groat, and some lovely post-medieval early bag seals and medieval farm tokens. There you go. If you're finding that sort of thing and you come home, you're a happy person, aren't you? You know, you found a bit of history. You found something that's worth taking pictures of and looking at on your phone, and you've enjoyed some of the items that you've dug up, which is brilliant. We've got Jean and Jackie having a little bit of a conversation, which is nice to see. So yeah, any questions about anything? I'm going to be staying until 7:30, folks. We did reach a dizzy height of 74 people earlier. At the moment, we've dropped to 55. Which is probably because I've stopped the topic and people sort of logged off. But which is fine because I'm not going to rant on all night about the dire situation in Cumbria. What anybody want to talk about? Anything at all? Any burning questions? Anywhere from anyone? David Dickinson, what a man, legend himself. British Museum say awaiting payment from receiving museum, long overdue. No answer from receiving museum for 2 weeks now, and also say they may not pay out straight away. Well, yeah, it's just a sad set of affairs at times, state of affairs, David. But good to see you, David. Anyway, always a pleasure to see you and hear from you. And I think History on Earth found a nice Roman bronze last week. I seen it. It was a cracker. I think it was a Japonidas, if I remember. When's the next dig date? That is a very good question, Ryan. We're gonna be doing a Christmas dig between Christmas and New Year, and I'm actually going to put it to the members of the dig group where we go. There's a couple of farms that we can choose from to have the Christmas dig, and hopefully I'll be feeling a damn sight better than I am now, raring to go. There's going to be one dig before Christmas, and that'll probably won't be obviously weekend. We didn't have one this weekend. It won't be next weekend. It might be the weekend after. And So that's what we're planning on doing. But there's only going to be one dig before Christmas. A proud member of Team on Earth. That's very kind of you to say that night. Good to have you on board, mate. A very honest YouTube channel that you've got going on there, Jason. If anybody is on here now looking and not subscribed to Jason, the Dark Knight Detectorist, go along to his channel and subscribe to it. He's very close, or he's moving close towards the 1,000 subscriber mark. He won't be far off anyway, maybe 100 off. And he is an honest detectorist. What you see is what you get with Jason. He's not one of these guys that he's out for glory. He's out for a good day out detecting. And if people enjoy that, then watch his channel. I hope there's plenty of washers for me on the next dig. You are the washer king, Dave, and there's nothing you're ever going to get away from that. The washer king. We've got William Morris, a hell of a nice fella. He's William Morris from up at Scotland. Hi, any more information on your Minelab sponsored dig? That's a very good question. We actually spoke about this. What day are we on? Sunday. Yesterday, Saturday. And we are going to be doing a Minelab sponsored event in March, William. Now, we don't know the dates. We've got the venue, but we don't know the dates yet. And of course, with it being sort of March time, it might move into sort of end of March, start of April when the weather gets a little bit better. But that's definitely going to happen. Now, by that time, we'll have things like the Manticore out and about, so we can do a bit of a Manticore training session with people that want that sort of thing. Could maybe do a bit of detecting on the day as well, and we could do a raffle. We could do a bit of food. We could do some demonstrations on other machines such as the Vanquish and the Equinox. That sort of event it'll be. So yeah, we've just got an influx of people joining. We've got Debbie Sharkey. Hi, Debbie. I don't know if you've ever been on here before, but it's good to see you. We're hoping. We actually thought we might have just seen a glimpse of the Manticore this week, but not yet. We are, however, planning on seeing the Manticore before Christmas, which is good news. What amounts that we end up getting into the UK is anyone's guess, but we are certainly on track for this year, for sometime in December. I think we'll probably see the first Manticore arrive within the next week or two. It's just a matter of having the patience waiting. It's always gets to fever pitch when there's a new detector on the horizon. If I was a manufacturer of metal detectors, I wouldn't say anything about release dates, because what happens is if they say end of November and people like myself and other dealers start saying to their potential customers and friends, end of November it's starting to come, then we end up getting hit by many messages, phone calls and emails, as you can imagine. So it's coming. The Manticore's coming, but we don't know when just yet. It'll be here before Christmas. I can safely say that. Christmas dig sounds awesome. Yeah, it's going to happen. We had a great Christmas dig last year between Christmas and New Year. Good to see happy faces. The weather wasn't too bad. It was a bit windy, but it wasn't rainy. And we found loads of hammered silvers as well, which was fantastic. So it was pretty damn good. Yeah, I pretty much enjoyed it. So good to see people on here. Future Bleeps, how are you? Good to see you. And did I miss? I don't know if I missed somebody earlier. No, I didn't. I've got too many people going on. I missed too many messages. So yeah, the Manticore's coming, and it's coming within. I'm hoping a week or two. I'm hoping we'll see it before a week or two. Yeah, fingers crossed. So anybody been out? I can't get my tongue. I can't get my words out. Probably all these night nurse stuff that I've been hammering, taking its toll on my old body. Friday I had a Richard I. Well done. Tony. Well done. Good to see you, future bleeps. And we're all well. And Looter 8 Treasure Hunter. I'm not sure who that is, but good to see you. I'm surprised Technetics haven't made any effort with me products for a while. With me products for a while. Or with products, you mean? Do you know what? I mean, I don't know what's going on with Technetics at times. I mean, there should be a new machine by Fisher Technetics at some time. I mean, we don't sell Fisher Technetics anymore because they're too expensive to ship in from the States, which is a real shame because the machines I had most of my success with in the, from 2010, probably before that, from 2008 up to 2018, which is a 10-year period, was Fisher and Technetics. The F75 and then the G2 Plus and even the T2. Just phenomenal machines for finding silver and gold. But the shipping costs for Technetics into this country now is a disgrace. So, we're in business to make money and survive, to pay our wages, not to, not to lose money. So it's a real shame. It's a real shame. Wayne Heston King says shipping costs for Technetics are mind-blowing. Absolutely mind-blowing, yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately, even though we did a lot of work on that brand from Fisher and Technetics and did a lot of good work with Fisher and Technetics early doors, there was a lot of things that went wrong with them. Unfortunately, there was, I'm not going to go into details, but it wasn't good. Still some lovely people that work there, and we get on very well with them. But the system that we had in play was just shocking in the end. So we've not a lot we could have done about that, unfortunately. Let me just knock that off. I'm getting bleeped away. So, yeah, the good to see people on here. There's a lot of new faces that we haven't seen before. Numbers are dropping off to around about 50, but we were up to 70 odd earlier, which is good. So, yeah, going back to that comment there, look, where is it? The Eurotech Pro was a good machine. Very good machine for its money. Very, very good machine for its money. Sadly, though, overtaken now by other machines. You have to look at the range of Vanquish machines, multi-frequency, and the cost of those machines, how relatively cheap they are for what they are, is, it takes some beating. They're a really good detector for the price. And Quest are making good machines now at a lower price that people are doing very well with, and the list goes on and on. So if you're a manufacturer of detectors, you can't sit on your hands for too long, or else you just lose too much ground. And if you're not bringing out machines for 5-10 years, you soon get overtaken by some of the big guns. And that's what happens, unfortunately, in life. Anybody, anything else? So, yes, so there is going to be an event, a Mind Lab event. We talked about it earlier, didn't we? We actually had one planned for this year, but because of Melanie's illness and situation, we sort of knocked it on the head a little bit. But we are all guns blazing for sort of March, April 2023. And of course, this is going to be an event not for people just to come and get drunk of a night and just have a mess about on YouTube and video the mates running around without the shorts on. It's going to be a proper event where people can actually, glean a bit of information from detecting and learn a bit about detecting and come away from the event, hopefully a better detectorist. That's the plan. But we always do things a little bit differently here at Unearth. We don't really get involved with too much of what else goes on out there. We just do our own thing, and that's the way I like to be, which is good. Any more questions or anything? Any burning questions out there that anybody wants to get off the chest? Anything? Best of health to Melanie from Future Bleeps. Yeah, she's here in the background. She's watching something on television. I don't know what. I can't see too far. Yeah. So there you go, folks. Maybe his phone was bleeping then. I looked on it. There's nothing there. That's strange. I actually gave my son a bit of a roasting earlier because I thought it might have been him replying back to me. Will it be a one-day event? It will, Don. Yes. And the reason why it's better for us to have a one-day event is because when you have an overnighter, like a weekender, and you're on a farm, an invite farm or a friend's farm or whatever it might be, you've got to have that extra level of security around, because people are staying overnight, and then you've got to have the dreaded alcohol kicks in, you see, then as well. People start getting drunk overnight, and not my scene, mate. I don't mind. Hey, listen, I don't want to sound like a killjoy, but detecting and alcohol don't mix. So it's going to be a one-day event. Mate. Yeah. Any of the farms we have visited would be great for a Christmas dig. Hopefully see you both on the next dig. Looking forward to the event next year. That will be special. Good to hear from you, Anita. Even though you disappeared last week away from our unearthed organised dig and went to another dig and found nothing. That's only what I got told. I could be wrong. Andrew Allen, how are you, sir? Good to see you. You've missed a lot of ranting going on, so I do apologise. What was the best detector deal you guys seen for this Black Friday? The Equinox was the best deal that we did for $699 for the 800. I mean, they just flew out the door, which is good for people. Treasure Huntress, there you are. How are you doing? Are you still working abroad in the Ukrainian? Doing your wonderful Ukrainian Polish work? I'm sure that doesn't sound like I've worded that right, but that's probably about the best I can say without giving too much away. I hope you're well, anyway. Didn't see anything that special. No, there was a few decent deals going around, but yeah, that Equinox deal for the 800 was pretty damn good. Hey, Luther 8, did you pop up on Digging Canuck earlier? I'm not sure if he'll answer. They may answer, hopefully. Yes, they may well do. If I hadn't bought a drone, I'd have had one of those deals off you. Do you know what? I'm not saying there could be all sorts of weird and wonderful deals going on in the future. You just never know, mate. It's Yorkshire. Yes, I did. Liz is the best. There you go. There's your answer. Fantastic. So yeah, the other thing is to say as well, and I don't know if some of you guys picked up on this, but the Unearthed YouTube channel is growing now quite quickly, which is good, which is what it's all about. I quite enjoy doing YouTube. And a lot of you people on here do YouTube as well, and you enjoy the live streams, and you enjoy making your own content and everything else. However, we did say that we were going to do some prize giveaways when we reach milestones. The milestone for 10,000 is still on, so we are going to give a detector. We're going to give a free detector away and other items. So we're going to be giving away a detector free and some accessories and merchandise when we reach 10,000. We were going to do some more earlier ones, but we've decided to do the Minelab Mega competition on Facebook and on the page and everything else. It's a better way of doing it. And of course, when we reach 6,000 subscribers, which was quite some time ago now, we give away I think we give 5 or 6 items away. Most of them people that we give items away to, we never seen after that, which was like, what happened to those people? So I think if we give away a metal detector at 10,000, and we make sure it's people that actually interact with us and friends, and we not know personally, but we have interaction with on live streams and things. Wouldn't it be nice if one of these winners went to people like them? If that makes sense. There you go. So we've got Debbie Sharkey on. Talking about roastings. I was the one telling you about me taking you to bed with me each night. How embarrassed you were. Was that, Debbie, at a dig in? Oh, now then. I think that was at a rally, but you'll tell me if I'm wrong. She's Treasure Huntress is back. Yes, all good, thank you, Graham. Bit stressful time as 2 missiles hit not far away from the hometown, but returning to the UK tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be detecting. So do you know what? The work that you're doing out there is absolutely amazing. And, you know, for us here in the UK, and a lot of other people around the world, the conflict with Russia and the Ukraine is obviously a pretty terrifying one. If you're out there like you are, almost, I'm not saying you're on the front line, but you're almost in the mix. And the sterling work that you're doing with the medical side of things is just to be, it's just a wonderful thing that you're doing. So you be careful and look after yourself. And if 2 missiles hit not too far from your hometown, that just shows you how close it is. So yeah, you look after yourself and get yourself back to the UK and get some detecting. You deserve it. And that's just, the wonderful side of this hobby. It brings a lot of people together, which is fantastic. I have made one item of metal detecting related coat hook and a key hook. I will also be making another coin carving to donate to the Unearth for the event, like the mini one I did for you and Mel. Thank you very much, Wayne Heston King. You've got a bit of a skill going on there, which is fantastic. History Unearth's going. He's going to go and charge his drone up to do some night drone work. I don't think he is, by the way. And Jim's right, what he says. Take care, Treasure Huntress. Amazing work. When you look into the work that the Treasure Huntress does, she's providing medical equipment to the front line, I guess, and and helping that side of the war and the conflict, which is only, it's amazing work when you think of it. The horrors that these people must see is just, it just doesn't bear thinking about, does it? Great chat tonight, by the way, folks. It's always good to see. I've got 15 minutes left, so you can talk about anything if you want. You can just talk casually between yourselves. It's the first live stream that we've done for about 7 or 8 weeks, I think. We haven't done many. We've been that busy doing live shorts, and we've also been doing some organised digs and a little bit of detecting myself. Now, my own detecting, I'm going to be doing some proper field work with the Manticore when it comes, for obvious reasons. Now, I've sold my Equinox. I had a friend that wanted an Equinox, and I had mine for sale. So my Equinox is gone. I have got other detectors, however, but I've got a lot of new permissions that here in Cumbria that I'm going to keep for the Manticore, and I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to wait, and I'm going to smash it. Hopefully over Christmas and into the new year on some of these new permissions. Fingers crossed to pull up a few nice coins and artifacts with it, or I might not find anything with it if I don't set it right and don't use it correctly. I'll have to get my head around this Manticore and how it operates first. So we've got Treasure Huntress is getting more respect, which is good, from Rob Quince. Debbie Sharkey, Brampton. It was Brampton Rally. Yes, it was. It was it the NCMD or was it the Loon Valley Rally? I've got a pretty good memory, actually. I didn't remember your name, though, Debbie. That's the only thing. But I do remember that. I do remember you coming up to me in the tent and telling me. I did go red, actually. Graham, have you ever detected where we are? I did see something jump up. Have I ever detected outside of the UK? No. I've detected just about every part of the UK, but never abroad. No. There's a few places that I would love to detect abroad, but not at the moment. You never know. In the future, Al. Do we know anything more about the Roman bronze wheel pin? I know I've said it before, but I'm sure it's a depiction of Horus, Jim. Is this the linchpin that you were talking about, Jim? The eagle's head? I think you are talking about that. I've not had any more information back off it. However, I did talk to Kevin Leahy about 3 months ago who wanted to see it. So I'm going to have to organise a trip down to see him at some point, maybe in Lincoln. I think he's got something to do with Lincoln Museum now. I could maybe take it down there for a day and let him have a look. Excuse me. Future bleeps. I have just taken delivery of one of Gary XP's old classic detectors that I won, a Tesoro Gold Sabre, which is actually one of my old machines, Future bleeps. And I found quite a few gold rings with that machine. And I had a Royal Sabre and a Silver Sabre Plus. Nice machines in its day. Not very deep, but I tell you what, they found the stuff. And they still find the stuff now. Great machines. Great machines. I went to see how the Manticore goes, and then I know I won't be able to resist having one. It's all to do with there's going to be people, right? We'll get the Manticore, because the Manticore situation is going to crop up all over social media. So what you'll get is this. You'll get people saying it's a waste of money. It's a waste of money. Don't buy one because you've got to walk over it. And then you'll be thinking, yeah, well, maybe they've got a point. And then there'll be people saying it's the best thing since sliced bread. And then there'll be people saying it's the best thing out there. It's the most powerful machine on the planet, blah, blah, blah. And then there'll be people saying, I'm sitting back and waiting for the results to come through off detectorists that I know and trust before I make the decision, which is pretty damn good, which is pretty much the way to do things. You've also got to remember about the Manticore. Not everybody will be able to afford one, which everybody understands. But they're not the most expensive detector out there either. I mean, we talked about this last time, whereas the CTX 3030 is over 10 years old, and that came in at $2,000. And the Manticore 10 years later is cheaper than that, and it'll be a fundamentally better machine. There's no two ways about it. It'll be a better machine than the CTX. I know it will. Now, there'll be CTX users probably saying to me now, well, what does he know about it? He never used a CTX for that long. And they're probably right. But I know for a fact that things improve in time. And the Manticore is an improvement over a 10-year-old detector. It'll have a faster processor in it. It'll be able to process the data quicker. It'll be faster response. It'll be better around iron. It'll probably be deeper on certain targets. It'll be lighter in weight. The list will go on and on. And if Minelab are saying now it's the best machine they've made, then it's going to be pretty much up there, because this day and age you get jumped on if you start putting outlandish claims out there with regards to detectors and performance, like everything, like cars, computers, televisions, you name it. There's always somebody ready to take you to court for misinformation. So there'll be no... Minelab would be quite comfortable in saying how good this machine is, because it will be good. Minelab don't really make bad machines, although I did think they did make one bad machine way back when the Minelab, which one was it that I didn't like? Oh God, I can't remember now. There was one that I didn't like. I bought it, used it, and I couldn't get on with it. It was a horrible thing. But it might have also been down my impatience of learning the machine from top to bottom, but I don't think it was. I think it was just the machine itself. It was just a sideways metal detector up from the Explorer. Somebody will tell me what it was called. Well, yeah, but you'll upset Cleggy, but Cleggy's not a detectorist, is he really? Let's face it. I mean, Cleggy's going around telling people that he got one of his coins and artifacts identified by Paul Blinkhorn, who's an anti-detectorist. Cleggy was one of these guys that went out in lockdown when everybody was doing the right thing. He was out detecting when everyone was sat at home on lockdown. He's just a bit of a... I don't want to get involved with that side of detecting. But there's also going to be people that use the Manticore and use it correctly and very well, and they're going to end up finding a lot of nice things with it. It's not the Sovereign. No, the Sovereign wasn't a bad machine. It was pretty good on the beaches. It was the detector that they brought out after the Explorer and before the Xterra range. Can anybody remember it? So you've got the Explorer here, and then they got the Explorer 2, and then they brought the other one out, which was like a red. Was it like a reddy colour? It very much looked like a Explorer type E-Track type. It wasn't an E-Track, by the way. It's before the E-Track. Oh, what was it called? They stopped making it after a while because I think it was probably poor. I didn't like it. Even though it was deep, the recovery speed was absolutely awful with it, and it was a numb, dull machine, but it worked all right on the beaches. Oh, what was it called? Quattro! How did you remember that? Oh, Melanie got it. Quattro. The Minelab Quattro. Now, for me, that wasn't a good machine. But remember, also, that was only my opinion. There'll be people out there using the Quattro way back then that probably found a lot of nice things. Me, couldn't get on with it, didn't like it. I give it loads of time and effort, and it just didn't do the job for me. I had it on a Roman site where there was lots of coins and artifacts popping up out the ground around me, and this thing was as numb as hell. No matter what I set it on, it wouldn't pick anything up. It was just an awful machine. But other than that, most of the Minelab machines that I've used have been all right. They've been great machines. I've enjoyed using them. From the Vanquish, Equinox have been great machines. The Sovereign was a good machine. And the first one that I ever used, going back to the 1990s, 1991, they brought out a single frequency detector, which was absolutely awesome. And again, I can't remember its bloody name because my memory's going. You won't remember that. It was me. It was the first Minelab machine I ever bought. Somebody out there must remember what it was called. It was way back in the 90s, early 90s. They stopped making it in favor of the FPS detectors. It's because I haven't thought about it for such a long time. I can't remember its name, but that was a cracking machine. I found my first ever hammered half crown with it, and it was a beautifully balanced detector for all terrain. It didn't do so well on the beaches, but it was such a good detector. There you go, folks. Bit of nostalgia going on there. Whatever its name was, it'll come to me when I'm lying in bed tonight, and I'll be thinking, "That's the machine. That's the name of it. Why didn't I remember it then?" But some of you wonderful people will remember what machine it was. Like I said, it was way back in the 90s. And I bought it from a gentleman called Jeff Gardner from Loon Valley area in Lancaster, who had his own detecting shop. So he had his shop built, and he had his garage converted into a detecting shop, and we were down there every 2 weeks. I guarantee you we were down at his shop every 2 weeks buying things. So I bought my first Minelab machine off him, and I can't bloody remember what it was called. I bought a Whites off him. I bought 2 Tesoros off him. I bought a Fisher 1266X from him. I bought a Toltec 100 from him. And I bought a White's Eagle Spectrum from him. So he did very well out of me and my friends. And he's still alive. Jeff, still alive. Nice fella. So lots of metal detectors. Good detectors as well. Went detecting with him one day. Took him detecting when I was only a bit of slip of a kid. And we found some nice things. I remember getting a Charles I shilling and some Roman coins. And he got some Roman coins, which was nice. Graham, I will be calling you in the morning. Call you in the morning to put my Christmas present order in. We'll be here, rain, hail, or shine, after 9 o'clock. So I'll speak. Me or Mel will speak to you, Jackie. And good luck. Hey, by the way, Jackie, while you're on, let me put Jackie back on the screen. If anybody wants to subscribe to Jackie's channel, do it. Bludicus Detects. Jackie's now part of Team Unearthed as well, which is really good. You found a rather special coin today, actually, a coin that's on my wish list. And it looked to me to be an Irish short cross penny of King John. I've always wanted to find an Irish short cross penny of King John with the triangle and the moons and the stars. They're a fantastic coin. It's always eluded me. Found lots of short cross, but I've never had an Irish one. So well done. It's in the same category as a short cross English coin, if that makes sense. So there you go. Anybody, anything else before I disappear? I've got 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left. Anything, folks? Now is the time. Any burning questions? Oh, quiet. You're all digesting that rant that I did, which is fine. Same as the D2. Don't know what you mean by that, Tony. Do you mean same as the DS2? I don't know. I don't know if you mean the DS2. I've never used the DS2, so I can't comment on that machine. My days of using XP machines was gone from when I stopped using the Go Magnet, which was a decent machine. Bit of a cork magnet though. I will ring this week, and I need one of those arm cups. Now, there's the new, when I say the new, there's the indestructible Equinox arm cups now, isn't there? So they're the best. They'll never break, Rob. Part of a hoard. Wow. Actually, you think about it, you'd expect them coins to turn up in a hoard, Jackie. So you've actually found a hoard, which is really good. Excellent work. Excellent. Well done. Well done to you. All these coins and artifacts that have turned up today, that's just amazing, isn't it? There's been so much good stuff come up today off the Detectorists all over the place. I found one of those last year. It took me forever to fathom it out with a triangle on the back, Limerick mint. Yeah, they're just amazing coins, Andrew. I'd love to find one. Love to find one. Found lots of short cross, but never found one of those. Jim Ferry. Is it Jim? Yes, I wanted to ask if you would make a video talking about how to get permissions. I'm new to it and still don't get the ins and outs. If you look back, Jim, on some of my early videos, I talk quite comprehensively about metal detectorists gaining permission and how to do it. So some of my early videos going back 12, 18 months ago, the specific videos that I've made talking about what the best way is to get permission, in my opinion. And the good thing is, I've had quite a lot of feedback from detectorists that have watched it, have said, hey, do you know what? I took your advice and I've just gained my first 2 permissions, which is really good. So it must have worked. So if you troll through or scroll through all my old videos, you'll see specific ones about gaining permission for detectorists. And you'll find it, hopefully you'll find it quite useful, Jim. Right, folks, great to speak to you all. There's a Facebook user that's just come on. I am not sure who that is. But it's saying hi to me and you, Mel. I'm not sure who that is. Sister found the hoard. I helped find the remaining 4 of the Irish ones amongst it. Wow, that's amazing. Nicola. Good to see Nicola. Well done, Jackie. That's fantastic. Look at that, eh? Can't beat the thrill of finding a hoard. Well done. I'm going off now to get some of that night nurse down my neck and chill out for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, get a shower, and then bed. Right, folks, good to see you all. Take care. Bye for now.